Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Pick any area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then visit your promotion section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. There's nothing more exciting than going yard, so swing for the fences with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Iowa only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary depending on market and expire 24 hours from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Welcome to Alien Theorist Theorizing. I'm Zell, and this is Open Channels number 1. This is a brand new show we're going to be doing when we're between case file topics. It's a strict fan call-in show to tell your stories. We have a lot of people who want to tell stories to us on the case files, but we just can't get to everybody, so we decided we're going to do a strict, dedicated, call-in only show. So this first episode is just a few people calling in and talking to just myself. But if the show gains popularity, we'll make sure we'll try and have more theorists on and to talk and bullshit with you guys about your stories. So if you have a story about UFOs, aliens, abductions, anything paranormal, cryptids, you have a thought on a government conspiracy or some type of cover-up, you guys know us. We like to talk about anything and everything. So if you have a story, make sure to send us an email to alientheorist@gmail.com, or you can connect with us any other way. Go to our website, alientheorist.com. All the links are there for our social media. And get in touch with us, and we will get you on the show when we can. We appreciate the fuck out of all you guys and girls listening. We love y'all. So here's a few stories from some fellow Prolapser fans. Let's get started. All right, our first ever caller on Open Channels is Carrie from Northern Ontario, Canada. She has a cool story about Orb UFOs. Check it out.
Okay. So in 2001, I was walking with 4 of my friends. We live in northwestern Ontario, so it's really a lot of forest. Even the parks are very foresty. So we were walking, we were good, we're all having a great time, just chilling. And it started to rain, so we're all frolicking, being weird teenagers, you know how kids are. And then, out of nowhere, I had my back turned to everybody because I was talking to my boyfriend at the time. But our one friend, one of the guys, started freaking out, and I turned to look, and there was like orbs of every different color. There was like 20 to 30 of them at least. We're just surrounded by them. I can't remember anything in between seeing them and 2 blocks away from the boyfriend's house. Now, I don't know if I blacked out from like being afraid or I don't know. I've heard dozens of theories, so I'm not even going to get into that. But we definitely seen them. I thought it was cool. I wasn't afraid. Our one friend was like really freaked out about it. He was freaking right out. And by the time we got, so when I actually remember being aware again was 2 blocks away from the house, nobody seemed to be freaked out anymore. Everybody's fine. People were talking about it, but not really. Like just, oh, that was cool, but not the way I feel that we should have been talking about it. I didn't really push with it too much at the time because I thought, oh, whatever, None of us were doing drugs. None of us were drinking. We weren't under the influence of anything. I can't figure out another way to explain it. It was just neat and different. I haven't seen any orbs or anything like that since. Just the, I guess, kind of like a shadow in my room once. That's a whole other story.
Okay, I got a couple questions about the orbs.
Okay.
So how many orbs do you think you saw? Just many orbs, or do you have like a rough number?
I don't even know. I'm saying that I could see with my eyes in front of me 20 to 30. There could have been more. We were surrounded by them.
And
I was talking to my one friend. Pardon?
How big were they approximately, you think?
Oh, they're all different sizes. They're all different sizes.
Like from like golf ball to beach ball to huge, or?
Like the size of my fist, or the average person's fist. I don't know, like a baseball, a little bit bigger than a baseball, to the size of beach balls.
Huh.
Like,
they were
all different sizes. There was orange, there was blue, there was green. Those are the colors that really stand out in my mind. A lot of white ones, or not white, what would you call it? Like crystal colored. A lot of those.
Huh.
And they were swirling around us too. I forgot that part. Some of them were like swirling. And that was part of the reason why our one friend was freaking right out. And I didn't seem freaked out by it. I still remember just being in awe, like shocked, and thought it was really cool. The one guy that freaked out does not remember any of it. That's the other part I forgot to tell you. He has no recollection of this incident whatsoever. None.
Huh.
When we asked him about it, he couldn't remember anything, and we thought that was kind of trippy. That was really freaky.
So you guys were
why didn't he remember? The rest of us remembered it.
You like high school teenagers? Not drinking. Not smoking.
Not drinking. Not on drugs.
Seen these orbs. You thought like a bunch of time had passed when you only thought it was a few minutes?
Okay, so yes. Now, we were gone. We thought we were gone for like half an hour, 40 minutes. Because the time that it takes to walk from point A to point B, it's a 10-minute walk. So we figured, okay, we're gone like 40 minutes. We got back to my boyfriend's mom's place, and she's like, where have you guys been? It's been like 2.5 hours. You said you were just going for a walk. And we're like, what are you talking about? We were only gone for like 40 minutes. And when I tried to talk to my other friends about it or bring it up, like the one guy, that freaked out, he was the one that I kept pushing, like, hey, do you remember this? And he's like, I don't think I was there that time. I'm like, yeah, you were, because you're freaking right out. And you don't remember that, honestly? He's like, nope. No, I don't remember any of it.
Huh.
And I was like, what? I spoke to the other 2-3 people, and they all remember. But it's all like fragments of it, kind of like how I only remember the first chunk. Now, I don't know if that's over time or something shifty is going on. I have no idea.
Okay. Can I ask, how old are you now?
I'm 30.
30, so it was like 15 years ago, roughly, or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, 2000, 2001.
Okay, well, I'm not an expert, so I'm going to ask you, what do you think your theory is? Because there's a lot of accounts of orb UFOs.
I really do. I think, honestly, I know it's going to sound nuts. I think that we were contacted by something, and I think that the people that couldn't handle it had their memories wiped.
Huh. So
I don't know.
Was there any was there any memories in your mind that were not there before that happened? Like anything weird? Like they didn't like project like a picture into your mind or something?
No.
Or anything like that?
None of that. We just we seen them. I remember seeing them. I remember my friend freaking out. And then all of a sudden we were 2 blocks away from my boyfriend's place. And it didn't make sense. I don't remember the part of the walk from the park itself to his place, which is only, a 10-minute walk. I don't remember that point to that point. It was weird. And I remember talking to my other friends about it and being like, you guys don't think that's strange? And I'm like, yeah, I guess that is kind of weird, but, we're just talking lots, maybe. Like there was a lot of, it could have been this or it could have been that, but nobody else knew. And I always thought that was weird.
Huh. You know what? Well, on this show, no one's crazy. And I hate when people call people crazy for telling a story like that. So thanks for calling in and telling that. One more question. You said Northern Ontario?
Yep.
Somewhere up there? I'll just put that down. You don't have to say the city if you don't want. It's no problem. Carrie, Northern Ontario, 30. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'll probably cut this down to like a few minutes, and then it'll be on either the next case file or one of the next ones here. Sound good?
Okay.
Any case file suggestions from your end?
Crazy.
Anything you want to hear us talk about?
I totally, like, a huge chunk of what you just said, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, we kind of have a shoddy connection. I was just asking you any case file suggestions that you'd like to hear us talk about in the future.
Definitely like to know if there's other people that have experienced the orbs.
No. What we'll do is we'll look if there's any other accounts like that, and then we'll be talking about it. So stay tuned.
Sweet, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Gary. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right, thanks, Carrie, for sharing that story with us. It's cool. I mean, orb UFOs. Some I've never experienced personally, but there's hundreds or thousands of stories about these fucking little glowing balls. So what they are remains to be seen, but it's fucking cool. All right, our next caller is Ethan from Melbourne, Australia. And he's telling us some stories about a haunted house, ghosts, shadow figures, whatnot. It's creepy as the Australians would say. Check it out.
All right, awesome. So when I was a kid at the family home, it was in Homebush in Sydney. All the houses in that time during like the early 90s and late 90s and stuff were all like colonial houses. So good couple of 100 years old in Australia anyway, that's old. So my parents bought a deceased estate house, really cheap, renovated it, everything like that. Didn't ask any questions, anything like that. And then, I come along, first kid, and things start getting a little bit weird at home. Mum starts hearing footsteps and whistling up and down the hallway when there's no one home. She'd be home at work. She used to work at home and have clients come over, and they'd hear the door open, close, footsteps down the hallway with whistling. Even one time she recalls a story where someone entered my room and wound my baby mobile, and it started playing, went through one whole time and then wound up a second time. And they went through the house and no one was there at all. So Mum and Dad do a bit of digging around the house and a bit of investigating, and ends up that the prior resident of the house committed suicide inside the house after his wife and baby died in childbirth. So things started getting a little bit creepy there. And then as I got older, I saw a few things as well. So, we'd start seeing like shadows in the house, like a person would, like this black figure will walk into one room. We'd go and race and check it out. There'd be no one in the house. I remember I was about 5 or 6 years old. My sister was about 2 or 3. And I'm in the TV room with my mum, and the baby sister's in her bedroom at the front of the house. And Mum's looked up the hallway, and I've looked up the hallway because we heard the door open and close. And this black figure walks into my sister's room, and she starts giggling. And then all of a sudden, in like a split second, starts crying out. We'd race in, no one's there. Sometimes we come home and the pictures would all be knocked over. Just weird things, and it would always be this, it was kind of this cold feeling in the house. This feeling that there's always someone else there. So it was just weird growing up there because, this one time we went out for dinner, we came home and there was like hundreds of spiders covering the hallway in the house from nowhere. Like, house had been pest swept and everything like that prior, and just weird occurrences like the heaters wouldn't work anymore, or no matter how hot you had the heaters turned up, it would never get warm. The rooms would always be cold at the front of the house. The extensions of the property out the back, which were brand new, were completely fine, but anything that was original in the house would just be kind of freaky. And the whistling would always get us. Like, it wasn't like wind blowing through, it was like a tune of whistling. So yeah, that's kind of the creepiest thing I ever had. So growing up as a kid.
Holy fuck. Ghosts,
yeah. Yeah, ghosts, man. It was crazy shit.
So the guy committed suicide
after his wife and child died during childbirth in the house as well.
Oh, they died in the house during childbirth.
Yeah.
You got yourself some type of ghost there for sure.
Yeah. So, and he committed suicide in the house as well. So that was creepy.
So,
but
you just shadows were the most thing you seen. He never fucking chucked any knives at you or anything, did he?
No, never any nights. Like we'd see shadows, or you'd hear the footsteps, like audible footsteps of someone just walking down the hall, getting closer to you, and then you go and check out the house, and it'd be gone completely. And we thought maybe possums or something like that in the walls, but parents kept getting all the pest sweepers out and everything to check out the place. Nothing at all. Completely clean all the time.
Yeah, you try. You try and like reason it something normal.
Yeah,
but
you start rationalizing it, and like my grandparents, they were Italian, so they're just like get a priest out there, bless the house. The house is cursed. Get out of the house, sort of thing. And they tried that as well. I'm pretty sure my mum ended up getting someone to come and bless the house, but didn't change anything.
So wait, how long did you stay in that house? How long did it happen for?
I was there. It happened from, I think Mum and Dad say it happened from like the first 2 or 3 months from when I was born up until we moved out of the house when I was about 11. So 11 years of it.
Huh. Yes.
And like it quieted down when I got to about 3 or 4, and then my sister was born, and then it acted up again.
That kind of goes with the theory that like ghosts and young kids are some weird connection there. You keep hearing those kind of stories.
Well, this is the thing. Like we thought it might have had something to do with the fact that the baby died in like childbirth. Maybe he had some sort of connection to the kids, trying to like protect us or something. But I don't know, man. I just hated that house growing up. It was creepy sometimes. Like I said, the cold patches in my bedroom and my sister's bedroom were just, no matter how hot you turn the heater off, our bedrooms would always be freezing cold.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm no ghost expert, but you hear so many stories. There's got to be something weird there. Like who knows? But
and this is the thing. I'm a skeptic when it comes to ghosts, man. But that one house, it always gets me, and I just can't ever shake it. That feeling that something was just not right about that house, man. Like it was never crazy, like things being thrown at us, but our family pictures would all be turned down, or and all the windows would be closed, and sometimes like all the insects that would randomly rock up in the house, even though you'd have all the pest control people come through and clean it out. That one night, we came home from dinner celebrating a birthday, and the walls were just covered in like hundreds or thousands of like huntsman spiders.
Oh, the huntsman, man. Fuck the huntsman.
Man. Like, the size of your hand, just all over the house, just out of nowhere. Getting 1 or 2 during the year, during the hot season, fair enough. Like that's normal. But when you got hundreds of them and the walls look like they're moving,
How did they even stay in that house with fucking that many spiders? I'd burn it down.
Well, this is the thing. Like, Dad went in the house and he's got the fucking vacuum and he's vacuuming the walls like out of Ghostbusters or something, And like they'd all be gone. And like the next day, like no shit, like there was about another 100 of them in the house, like out of nowhere. We're like, what the fuck is happening? And then got the pest guys in. They came in to sweep and check everything. They were all gone.
Huh? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, man.
What's your theory? What do you think?
I reckon it had to be haunted. Mr. Marshall, that's what his name was. He hung around the house until the day we left, from the day I was born. Leading up to that, nothing at all in the house, nothing weird at all. I reckon the mixture of new kids in the house and, renovating the house and adding new extensions kind of got him up and about. So has to be something, man. Has to be something.
All right. Cheers to Ethan. Thanks for the call. Fucking ghosts, eh? Next caller is, well, to be honest, I recorded this one a while ago and I forgot to write down his name. So the nameless caller, he's from California, and he is talking about the insanity of today's modern financial system. It went really long, so I had to cut it short. So it might not make sense the whole way through, but I try and end it as best I can. Yeah, check it out. Your profile says your profile says you're Darth Vader.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm many people's fathers. They don't know it yet.
I think everyone might have that problem, maybe, especially if you go traveling.
Exactly.
Awesome, man. So where are you calling from?
I'm calling from California.
Nice. Southern, northern?
I got my buddy. Southern California. I've got my buddy Steven here with me.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. You guys both listen to the show?
No, just myself. I just put him on today about it. I've been listening for the past few months, and I love your show, man.
Hey, appreciate it. It's fun to do.
Yeah, the best quote from your show is hashtag look it up.
Yeah, man, that's we feel that's the same way, because like you can just tell people stuff, but if you never actually look at it for yourself, then you're kind of lost. So.
Exactly, man. Education for the people is so important right now.
Yep, 100%. So you wanted to talk about some the world's finance, or what exactly do you have in mind?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the world's finances, basic computer security, the way the security runs in this world, the way the finances work. All the information that I've gathered is publicly available. Okay, and I kind of wanted to break it down. I don't want to take too much of your listeners' time, but I have a lot to say. And
okay, well,
if at any point
I'm gonna tell you right now, we got only about 15 minutes per caller. So if you just want to do like one section now, and the next call in you can do another section, we can do like a segment style. Or
right now, I just wanted to break down my background in history. I wanted to go into the facts that I found, and then I wanted to break down if any conspiracy theories coming out from after that. So I grew up in 3 different states. I grew up in New York, grew up in Georgia, grew up in California. So I kind of have a little bit about how different cultures, work, right? Just in the U.S. I've never visited outside the U.S. Never could afford it. I remember growing up. My parents, they did well. In New York, I wasn't very well educated, in my opinion, because I spent too much time hanging out. That's my fault, not my parents. I actually went to high school, and the name was High School of Economics and Finance. Okay,
there you go.
This was right across the street from the World Trade Center, and I left a year before the crash.
Right.
The 2001.
The attacks on the towers. Yeah.
Yes, sir. When I went to that school, I thought I had a chance at a better life to learn more, but my laziness as a teenager didn't realize the bigger picture at the end of what they was actually teaching, economics and finance.
Yeah, you're too young when you're 18, it's like 17, 18 to really get a grasp of it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And now that I'm older, I realize how important it was. They were teaching a lot of stuff that I should have paid attention to, but you're that age, and especially if your parents haven't taught you what it's all about, it's really hard to grasp. I went to college for about 1.5 years in a community college. I was studying Cisco certifications to become a network engineer. It was really cool. But at the time, my father was struggling, and I just had to help him. I had to quit my college, and he needed my help. At the time, I learned that you can actually get IT certifications on your own time. So I said, why do I need a college if I'm able to make a career of something I can learn on my own? So I took that very close to heart. Like, if you want to make it in this country, you can. The foundation's there. You just got to work for it. You got to educate yourself. Make a living for yourself. I remember growing up in Georgia. I was working in Target. And I just want to give a disclaimer. When I speak, I'm not trying to look for any monetary gain. I want to set a message out that anything I'm saying is not being leaked. It's publicly available. I want people to hashtag look it up, fact check everyone. Don't listen to one news source. Don't listen to one news source every day and spend the rest of your time on TV and sports. Like, really fact check what somebody's telling you, especially the media nowadays.
Amen, brother.
Right. So do your research instead of spending 3 hours watching the NFL. I'm trying to politicize anything or any other sport. Do your due diligence. Just don't sit in front of the TV and watch one mainstream media channel. There's a lot of resources right now you can fact check people on. Okay, keep an open mind. Don't just keep a closed mind because one source is telling you something.
The internet's a beautiful thing for that. Yeah, you can pretty much find anything.
Absolutely. And the ultimate goal right now, from all the research I've been doing, it's not for self-gain. It's for our children. I mean, to be honest, like, they're the next generation. I'm not doing this for me. doing this for the children that are growing up, the next generation that needs to know basic economics and basic finance. Just the stuff I read here online, watching documentaries and watching stuff. Every time I try to talk to people about this, they look at me strange. You can't blame them. They don't know. They're uneducated. You see what I mean?
People don't want to hear that the finance system is fairly corrupt. They just want to go about their lives, right? Work, and they don't want to hear about the debt-based economy that we're trapped in.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. We're taught that we're supposed to go up in school. We're supposed to get a job. We're supposed to save money in the bank. If you're taught right to diversify that income, if not, your 401k will handle you in the future, and Social Security. But no one realizes the dangers of that. Okay. So back to what I was saying. Growing up as my history, working in Target. I remember it's a great company at the time. Within 2 weeks, they assigned me into the electronic specialist role. Okay. Now, this was over 8 years ago, so their policies might have changed, but I'm going to describe what I went through in there. I remember within the 2 weeks that I had a job in Target, they liked me so much, they put me in a position to get more credit cards. Okay. At the time, I knew that was bad, right? But I didn't really know the extent of it. They kept me in there because I knew how to talk to people. I had great customer relation skills. Like I said, this happened a long time ago. I don't know how their policy changes. So when they had what was called a conversion rate. Okay, how many conversions can you make per transaction that you settled at a cash register? Okay, so how many people per set of transactions were you able to convert a credit card to? Okay, the average amount per week for that store was like 0.5 to 2 at the tops. My average every week was about 12. The first day that I had the position in the electronics position at Target, I converted 4 people to get a credit card. They didn't even know that I was like a closet geek. I love technology, always loved manipulating it, and being in the position I was, I knew how to sell the technology without their knowing it, right? They literally used to send me people from other departments so they could shadow me to learn how I speak. I was thanked by higher ups that would visit the store because they looked at my records. They actually take notes of all this. They promote people to sell the credit cards. Okay, they're doing it now. They're doing it at every store. So Target's not the only one that knows about this. Everyone sells debt to make a profit. Okay, I'm also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I understand the meaning of pain. I understand the meaning of pacifism. I don't like violence because once you use violence to control the situation, the only thing you got left is the matter of speak. The matter of your voice, like how much you have to say, how intelligent you are. It's easy to beat somebody up if you're stronger than them. Yeah. But if they can outthink you, what's the point? What's the end game, right? So I started doing more reading, and that's my history right there. I kind of wanted to break that so you understand and where I'm coming from. I also remember, as I'm talking, a lot of things are coming up. I also remember coming up, and I had a hard time even paying for my own food. Okay, I was only making 20 grand a year, 24 grand, 25 grand a year, and at the time, I went to the government. I said, "Look, I just need help with food stamps. I'm really hard right now. Working. I just need help buying food. Like, you know what I mean? I'm willing to work. I just need help buying food just for the short term." Yep. I was told I made too much money. I missed the mark by $500.
Stupid, eh?
You know how I had told the lady, you meant to tell me you can't help me buy food for like at least 3 months because I missed the mark by $500. Meanwhile, you have a room full of people downstairs that live off of the government money with the taxes I pay from the money that I make in the job I have, and they were living free. It's not a disguise. It happens. You know what I mean? There's a life of dependency in this country that people got adjusted to. Yep. And they told me that no, I'm sorry, sir, you can't. Recently, I owed the state of California some taxes. They just grabbed it from my bank account because I wouldn't make a payment plan fast enough to support their taxes. Okay, what that means, I couldn't feed my family. Okay, I had to rely on my wife's credit card, on my wife's debit card, in order to pay for gas. I remember when my debit card got swiped from a gas station. And how many times have you heard this? right? And my credit card my debit card got swiped, okay? And they stole my information. As soon as I heard about it, the bank alert fraud went off. Hey, did you make this purchase? I said, no. Okay, we're going to cancel your card.
Yep.
Okay, what happens to my funds? You have to wait 3 to 5 days. Well, you could get another card in the bank.
Yeah,
It seems odd. You know what I mean?
Yep, I hear you.
So the reason why I'm bringing the economics into this is like, if you're living in this country or any other country with just one checking account and one savings account, you're doing things wrong. You see what I mean? You have to diversify your funds. And I'm going to tie all this together. You have to diversify where your money goes, because in this day and age, your identity can be stolen at any time. That's the truth. Okay?
Yeah, everyone in this day and age should have like a VPN, like a online protection for themselves. Definitely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I just wanted to give a little personal background on why I feel so passionate about this, because at certain points in my life, I couldn't feed myself and I could not feed my family.
Hey,
I had to find ways to do.
Marcus, man, you're speaking for like millions of people, man. So people are gonna love what you're about to say, because there's a lot of people in the same position as you. Like, just they're working as hard as they can, but they just can't get by no matter how much they work. So it's like we're stuck in a bad system there for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this message is coming from the heart. You know what I mean? And I just want to throw this up there. For my buddy and I, with the cryptocurrency going on right now, I'm not going to explain it right now. I kind of got a pattern on how I explain these things. Okay, I just want to throw that term out there. I'm literally able to set up a wallet to donate from people around the world for our children's education. Okay, and that can publicly be tracked. Okay, I'm going to explain that in the future, how powerful that statement is. Okay, I'm making a statement right now that I'm setting up a fund for my child's future based on the international donations of people that feel the same way, not based off of the lottery, off of my state that says, hey, portions of your funds are going to be donated to the colleges. Okay, prove it. How can I trust what you're saying? Well, you know what? I can't show you my books, but you're going to have to believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm going to tie all this together of what the governments around the world are trying to do, that are on board and off board, of what the news is going on right now. Okay? So, like I said, I don't have any hacking ability. Okay, I don't have any kind of ways to get on the dark web and to find out this information with leaks, even though it's publicly possible. I try not to do that because I feel it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths. The information that I gathered is publicly available without having to go through a VPN. All you have to do is go to Google. Okay, I'm not leaking anything. This is information that people can look up for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
We encourage everyone to look it up. For sure.
Yes, sir. Hashtag look it up. You know what I mean? That's a powerful statement. Okay? All you have to do is read more. Get your eyes off of that propaganda machine called the TV. Okay? So what happens? As far as my history. In this current economy that we have, that the U.S. has, and all around the world, the banks have the power. Okay? Everyone has to understand the banks have the power.
And they're not just banks, they're private organizations. They have no ties to government, right? That's the crazy part.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. Name me one person that you know that's not in debt.
Exactly. No, the whole world's in debt to someone.
If you know one person that's not in debt, they are not leveraging their money correctly. Listen to what I'm saying. The world revolves around debt. Somebody owes someone something in this world. That currency you have in your hand does not belong to you. It belongs to a loan someone else made to a bank.
Yep.
Okay? It's just getting transferred around that cash.
It's not even cash. It's not even cash. It's just it's numbers made up is what it is, technically.
It gets the rabbit hole gets deeper, much deeper than that, and people need to realize. Just keep an open mind. These are not conspiracy theories. These are people over time, over generations, have been saying this to the people. No one wants to listen. Why? Because they're in a perpetual cycle of debt. When they grow up, they're taught a certain economic way of handling their money. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because economic education is not taught properly to the masses. That's why people are, quote unquote, called sheep. The people that know how everything works call everyone else sheep and, quote unquote, not woken up, because the basic information that has not been taught, and it's not the public's fault, okay? It's the education that they need to realize to, quote unquote, wake up.
Yeah, man, it's a pretty crazy thing. But just we're gonna have to start wrapping this up. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna summarize what you've been saying, and I'm gonna break it down how I see it. So, do you know how money is created?
I was gonna get into it. I was gonna try to tie all this together.
I know, but we're well over time, so I'm gonna do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna do a quick one here.
Yes,
So
sir.
in the Western world, countries have rigged up a fraudulent system called a central bank. And we'll take the United States because it's the biggest fraudster in the world. So you have the Federal Reserve, right? It loads money to the American government at interest. So every dollar the American government borrows for the country, for the nation, has to be paid back with interest. So it's a never-ending cycle of debt, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and then that interest has to be paid by the taxpayers. So if your government spends $100 billion on the war in Iraq, plus interest, that interest paid is your tax dollars. So every year that the national debt goes up, the more percentage of your wage is paid to the national debt, and that in turn leads to less money for everything else. And it's another hidden tax. It's called inflation. So actually, from like 1913, when $1 was worth the equivalent today of like $10,000, every year the dollar has been degraded through inflation. And inflation is the center of all capitalist markets in the Western world, which is pretty much what you're saying. Is everything's debt based. Sure. You can never get out. So the whole world's trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. To who? There's a central body called the IMF, and it's run by like a group of like not that many families and high-end business people. They control the whole world. And this shit.
This is not conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's not a conspiracy theory at all. It's just it's not taught because there'd be a revolution tomorrow. If everyone woke up and be like, listen, there's $10 trillion in the digital economy, but there's only $1 billion in cash. Imagine what happens. Everyone tries to go to the bank and take their money out. You put a run on the whole banking system, the whole system would fail in one day if everyone really came aware instantly. But
you said it beautifully.
They don't want you to know. They want you to keep paying your debt. We're debt slaves. It's a form of slavery, right? And this is my last point, and then we're going to have to move on to the next caller. Think about this. You have to compulsorily pay taxes to the government, or like you said, they'll take it out of your bank account, or they'll garnish your wages, right? And if you don't, and if you fraud the tax system, you'll be put in jail with murderers and rapists. For something that you don't want to do, you're made to do. It's a form of slavery, really. And then the argument goes back the other way, like, oh, your taxes, they pay for all your infrastructure and shit. And you're like, bullshit. You pay mainly into the national debt. It's an insane system, man. Like I hear you. I hear you. Like you're at that point now where you're getting mad because you're starting to understand, right?
Yes, sir. I have, and with my computer background, I have so much more to say. So whenever we can continue, please, I would like to continue and get that message across to everyone else in the world.
All right. Thanks, Darth Vader. That's what we're calling you. Yeah, it's modern finance that's pretty fucking crazy, and it's super, super complex and all intertwined globally between countries and different central banks and IMF and all this crazy shit. You could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. And that's probably done by design because it's a system that works, but it's a system set up for the people who pretty much made it, who started it. They have all the money still to this day, and they keep getting more and more. While citizens of these countries like Canada, US, England, all Western countries pretty much are on the hook for their country's national debt. And if you cannot repay your interest, I mean, it's just, everyone knows where it's going to end. Eventually, the debt ceiling is going to collapse, and you're going to have something like 2008, but probably a whole lot worse. But Yeah, look into it. Look it up. Look it up. Whatever country you're in, look up your central bank. It's a fucking crazy system. We'll talk more about it in the future. All right, next caller is Jason from Ottawa. And he is calling in about some strange alien implant in his foot. He actually sent us some x-rays, and there's this weird metallic ball on top of his foot. He doesn't know how it got there. The doctors don't know what it is. And so it's a pretty crazy story. Check it out. Okay, man, what do you want to talk about?
Probably that weird piece of metal that's in my foot. I'm not sure what it is, but I've got one.
That is fucking weird. You have an alien implant.
It could be.
For everyone listening, he sent us a picture of an x-ray of his foot, and there's this little piece of some shit in there that the doctor, I guess, didn't know. You didn't know. You don't know how it got there. It's just there.
No. Yeah, I had a cyst on my foot, so I went in to get that checked out, and the doctor sent me in for x-rays. And the x-ray showed up that there's a piece of metal in there. So I went back to my doctor to figure out what was going on, and he kept asking me, like how I got that metal in my foot, if I had stepped on anything or, but I didn't, because it's on the top of my foot, which is really weird.
It's on the top of your foot?
Yeah, the top, just off to the right side of my right foot.
So it couldn't even be something like you stepped on as a kid and it went in there. It's actually on the top of your foot. It's insane.
Yeah, he actually asked me if I'd been shot by a BB gun. And I definitely think I remember something like that.
Right. So it's like a little circular piece, or?
Yeah, I don't know if I sent you all 3 pictures of the x-ray that I have, but I can do that later on if you want.
I don't know. I'm gonna check while you're talking here. I might be able to find. Was it on Twitter you sent him?
Yeah, should be.
Okay, so what do you think they are? What do you think it is?
Well, I remember about a year ago I called you guys because I have like weird sleep paralysis. Like, I don't know what's even going on. But then I thought, since all my friends are kind of like me and you guys who, are all into aliens and stuff, we figured, hey, maybe instead of, a ghost or a witch or whatever you want to call it's happening, maybe it was some kind of alien related something or other.
Man, it's so weird. I'm looking at the pictures right now. Yeah, it does look like a BB, but maybe even smaller than BB though. Like, it's pretty tiny.
Yeah, it's because I work with precious metals, and I go through the metal detector every day, and I never picked anything up. So I figured, that would pick up anything because I go through with a little piece of gold or whatever on my body, and then it picks it up. But whatever's on my foot doesn't get noticed, so it's kind of strange.
Yeah, so it's like on the top of your foot near like your pinky toe, like the base knuckle on the top of your foot.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
So I actually went in and I got surgery and I got the cyst removed, but I thought I was going in to get the metal and the cyst removed, but they said that they, because of where the metal was, they couldn't get it out. Well, they could, but they said that it'd probably do more damage than good to have it removed.
Is it embedded in bone or?
She didn't say. I'm not sure if it's like in like a bunch of muscle or what, but she said that it'd be really difficult to remove.
Just on that location, it's not worth it.
Yeah, Basically. She said that it shouldn't hurt. It doesn't hurt actually right now, but I don't know. It's weird, man.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what to think.
Do you ever hear the Dr. Roger Lear?
Actually, on your podcast, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's actually, has he passed away? I think he might have passed away actually, but yeah, he removed like 20 or 30 unidentified implants from people's bodies, like under their elbows and their hands and their feet and their back. And I guess
I've seen some stuff
supposedly
on Netflix.
They tested them and they didn't really know what it was or how it got there in like a lot of these cases. So
yeah, man, no clue what's going on. I'm thinking
you were being fucking tracked. That's what's going on.
It could be. It hasn't happened in about a year, I guess. But I often wake up and I can't budge. Like, I can't move at all. I can see my wife. I can see everything that's going on around me. But I can't speak either, which is really creepy. I can kind of move my head to the side of it just to, kind of look around my room.
Yeah.
And I literally feel something sit on my chest. Like, I can't see anything. There's nothing there, but...
So you're experiencing straight sleep paralysis?
I guess so. But then
Do you see shadow people?
No. I've never seen anything weird, except for, I didn't see it, but one time I heard like this like low kind of rumbling growl. And I thought it was my dog at the time, but my dog wasn't in the room, so.
Oh, motherfucker, get out.
Yeah, weird shit. So yeah, I just found out about this piece of metal, I guess, I don't know, a little under a year ago. But now thinking back, I think that maybe it could be related somehow, possibly.
Interesting. Well, it's just super weird to have a piece of metal in your foot in that location, right?
Yeah, if it's at the bottom, then I think, okay, maybe I just stepped on a needle or something. But
yeah, a lot of people when they're kids, like, step on like a rock or something, it gets embedded in their foot forever, right?
Yep.
Or you get shot with a BB and it absorbs into your body. But that just looks really out of place and super weird.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. I thought the pain was coming from the metal, but they took out the cyst and it's fine so far. So not really sure what's happening.
Have you ever had an X-ray on your foot before this?
No. Well, not that I know of. Maybe when I was a kid for some reason, but not that I'm aware of. No.
No, they would have said something if you had a piece of metal in your foot for sure.
Absolutely.
Huh. It's bonkers. So yeah,
that's like you guys would be interested in seeing those X-rays and hearing about the unknown that's in my foot.
Yeah, it's definitely super weird, and I think we will do a case file on like alien implants before, because there's actually a lot of other cases. Some stuff that actually look like RFID chips, like little tubular implants and shit. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of weird stuff like that before. Mine's really, really tiny apparently, so I have no idea what it is. Like, I have no clue, but just thought it was interesting anyway.
Definitely interesting, man. All right, thank you, Cobra Commander. Fucking alien implants, man. It's pretty crazy. Go look him up, Dr. Roger Leir. He's got a bunch of videos and interviews of him talking about it. Seems like a pretty crazy phenomena that is probably more common than we know. All right, our next caller is Derek from Las Vegas. We've talked to him a couple times before. Sweet guy, and he's got a story or stories about kind of a haunted house he grew up in. What do you want to talk about? I can't remember. Did you have a story you wanted to say? Or you just wanted to say what's up?
Yeah, so I grew up in South Dakota, and one of the houses I lived in there was really haunted. It was weird. So I have a lot of, I guess, paranormal stories, but I kind of want to talk about the one that happened to me just recently here. It was more of a night terror.
Sure.
I've had them a few times in this place. I live with my girlfriend, and I've had them a couple times in this bed, like in this house. But I never see anybody. It's always just like it feels like people are sitting on me, and I'm trying to get up, and then I wake up with, deep breaths and like kind of gasping for air. But just most recently, a few days ago, I actually woke her up and me up by screaming out loud. And that one was way different. I wasn't like the other ones. Like, I knew I was laying in the bed that I'm in, same room, same everything. I knew where I was at. In this last one, I was actually in a different room. I don't even know the room I was in, but I was like laying on the floor by the edge of the bed. So I was like on the ground, and all of a sudden, like, I kind of got the same feeling, like two people were sitting on me, and I remember like pushing them away, and I knew, like, okay, God, this is happening again. Like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I need to just work through this. And so I'm kind of like pushing them away, and then I'm like, F you, like, get off of me. And then all of a sudden I see a silhouette of a man, because I feel it was a man, and almost like he had boxing gloves on, like the thing, his hands were like really round, like he had like a silhouette of a boxer.
Yeah.
And then he was punching me in the side. It was crazy, but it was one of those things, like, like when you see in movies how people like bounce around really quick. So they're like in one corner, and then they shoot over to the other corner really fast.
Yep.
And then they shoot in front of you really fast. That's what it was like. So it just kept bouncing like from side to side, front, and just kept hitting me in the stomach. And that's when I woke up to like me screaming. And my girlfriend was even like, oh my God, dude, like, what happened? Are you okay? That's never happened before, which was really weird.
That's fucking
like, I've
weird.
never seen the silhouette of somebody like that. So kind of like, I haven't been able to sleep that well for like the past 2 nights. I've had to have the TV on. Like, it freaked me out, man.
So you seemed like a shadow person, but it was a shadow person boxer, and he started beating the shit out of you.
Yeah, like that's what it looked like a silhouette of a boxer. Like, his hands had that big roundness to them. And that's what it felt like, because he was punching me. But it was weird, dude.
You didn't wake up
like,
with bruises, did you?
I did not. That's one of the first things I looked at. No, I didn't, which is good because I would have been freaked out if I had any kind of bruise. I'd been like, nope, babe, I'm moving out.
That's it. This place is fucking
That's
haunted.
it. It's over. That's a deal breaker right there.
It's crazy, man. Anything paranormal like that just freaks the shit out of me.
Totally.
I swear I have a fucking demon in the studio now.
Oh, do you?
I think I accidentally summoned it playing Ouija.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go? You guys did the Ouija thing. You guys conjure up anything besides that demon?
No, it was a fucking bust, but I think I might have done it by accident because I left the planchette on the Ouija board, and I guess you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, really?
Someone told me that after, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I opened up some portal.
Oh, Jesus.
So now I hear like strange knocking in here sometimes when I usually in here late night.
Yeah.
So I always have to lock the door now. It freaks me out.
Oh, Jesus, dude. Yeah, that one thing, man. Now it's like, now you're probably freaked out with any kind of little noise, like no matter what it is. Probably like, oh, dang it.
Yeah,
what is that?
Especially when I go on like a paranormal tangent and I'll just start going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. But yeah, that was kind of my little story. I mean, that house in South Dakota had just a lot of weird stuff. Like I saw plants moving, like old school. Like I was born in the 80s, so I was a 90s kid. And, the hanging pot plants, like the hanging knitted things that hang from the ceiling. You put pots, like plants in it. My mom had those all over the house, and those things were just swinging, like side to side, like someone was just standing there and swinging it back and forth.
Like way more than just a gust of wind through the house.
Oh, way more. Yeah. And just glasses moving, kind of your typical thing, but it was just the energy in the house.
Did you? I was gonna say, did you feel like a cold, like dark spaces in the house?
Oh gosh, yeah. Any time I came home, like how you kind of get used to the smell of like your house, right? And people will come over and be like, "Oh, it smells nice in here." You're like, "Oh, I don't know."
Oh no shit.
Yeah, like this house, every time I walked in, it just smelled weird. Like I could not get used to the smell, and it just smelled off. And just anywhere you were at in the house, you just felt.
What did it smell like? This,
I feel like the only like maybe dusty, dirty. Like if you walked into a dusty, dirty house, but it wasn't dusty or dirty. Yeah.
The reason I asked is because I've read a lot of things where if some type of event happens, smells can actually be trapped. And so the smell is actually part of the haunting. So I guess on the, what's that field in, is it Georgia, Gettysburg, where the big fucking Civil War battle was? I guess I guess there's haunted tours and shit there, right?
Yeah.
And people say sometimes you'll see the ghost armies in the woods and you can smell the burning cannonball ridden flesh.
Oh Jesus!
And I guess a lot of paranormal researchers say smells can actually get trapped in the same type of time loop, because they say that's kind of what it is. It's you're trapped in that moment of time.
Yeah.
And you just can never get out, kind of.
Jesus.
Some people say that's what. So thought maybe there might have been some murder and you had some weird rotting meat smell.
Right. Oh God. Yeah. That would have sucked.
Fucking nuts.
No, it was originally one house, and then the guy who bought the house, he turned it into a duplex. So he lived on the bottom, and then we lived on the top floor. And it was again one of those kind of older houses where it's pretty much all hallway, and then off of the right or left side were individual rooms, like bedroom, kitchen, living room. So it was just weird. There were so many times my mom would yell at me, "Derek, what are you doing in there?" I'm like, "I'm in my room." She's like, "I swear you just went by into the bathroom." I'm like, "No." Just weird, man. Just talking about it now gives me goosebumps.
That's fucking weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's way weird.
What do you believe in the paranormal? What do you think that is?
Oh, what do I think it is?
Do you think it's just is it some type of different dimension, or is it actually just a haunted time loop, or what is it?
That's a really good question, man. I've never really thought about that. I feel it's like spirits. When you die, your spirit goes up, and I feel like maybe they're stuck spirits, or they're spirits that just want to hang out, that don't want to go anywhere. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I've always thought.
Yeah, when you start talking about consciousness, what is that? Is that just energy? And when you die, that energy just fucking leaves and goes somewhere else?
Yeah, see that I could totally agree with that, because that's a whole other subject. I am so into the whole dream therapy and the subconscious. That stuff just interests me so much.
You go down that rabbit hole, and now you go more science, right? So you start going the quantum style, where everything exists at every point in time, all the time.
Oh yeah,
and only
you do one thing, and that shifts into a whole different.
Yeah, no, only the
act
of observing what's going on is really creating the reality. That's like that's like a huge new field of like quantum theory study.
That, dude, it's so interesting. I mean, because it's so true. It's almost kind of like that study. I mean, for a very, very dumbed down example, like how many red cars did you see today? I don't know, 1. Yeah. And then, okay, tomorrow, tell me how many red cars you see. Oh, I saw 30. Okay, well, were those 30 cars there yesterday and you just weren't looking, kind of thing.
Yeah, the tree falls in the woods, doesn't make a sound. All right, thanks, Derek. Another account of, haunted paranormal activity. I still can't put my finger on exactly what it is. I'm still going with other realm beings fucking with our dimensions. Or maybe it's part of the simulation theory. Maybe it's the creators poking their heads into our world. Who knows? All right, our last caller of Open Channels number 1 is Ellie from Calgary, Alberta, and she has a pretty insane Ouija board story that puts our attempt at playing it to shame. I guess it started when she was about 13 and persisted for about 8 years. And then she buried it in the end. Spoiler. All right, check it out.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm from Calgary, born and raised, still live here. I go to Kelowna like as much as I can. I love it there.
Well, awesome.
Yeah. So how do you want me to start? Like just
from
the beginning?
Yeah, you had a story about a Ouija board experience, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it all kind of started with an experience with the Ouija board when I was around 11. So this whole kind of story kind of happened over around 7 years that this was happening. Like a lot of crazy things kind of happened. So I'll try and stick to the gist of it.
Give us the scariest bits.
All right. So I guess I'll start with the first thing that ever happened. So it was on Halloween actually when I was 11. And me and my friend, we decided to buy an Ouija board, just one of the ones from Toys R Us, ones that you can just buy for $10.
We're familiar with that one.
Yeah, for sure. So we decided to go back to her house and started playing around with the Ouija board. I don't know what time it was. It was really late at night, but I'll kind of give you an explanation of kind of what her house kind of looked like, just because it kind of comes into play here. So right across the hall from her door is another door into another room. So it's directly parallel. And if you open that door to that other room across from hers, there's a huge window in it. So no matter what, you can always see through the door and you can always see the window because it's from ceiling to the floor. It's a huge window. There's a street light right outside. So there's always light coming in. It's an office. So they don't have curtains or anything, so there's always light coming in. So we had her door open and that door closed, so we could see directly across the hallway to that door. And we were playing with the Ouija board, and we started talking to it, and nothing was really happening. And then all of a sudden, it started to spell out my name. So I didn't really think anything of it, just because everyone there knew my name, everyone knew how to spell it and everything. So I was didn't really take it into account. And then we asked how old it was, and it said it was 0, which was kind of strange. And then we asked how it had died, and it said it had not lived. So that was kind of freaky. So we were kind of talking to it, and right after it said that, nothing really happened, but we heard this click. So we're where did that come from? And we look across the hall, and the door directly across from hers had clicked and unlatched and started to slowly open. But the freakiest thing about that was that you could not see the window through the door. So whatever was standing in the doorway was pitch black, 6 foot tall.
Oh, get out.
Yeah. You could not see the window. You couldn't see anything. It was pitch black, and it was opening really slowly. And so naturally, as 11-year-olds do, we freaked out. We started screaming, and her mother woke up and started running into down the hall towards us, and the door just slams. It freaking just slams shut and shakes the house. So that's kind of where it all started. So that's the first experience that we had.
Let's just do a quick recap. So you're playing with the Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking it questions, and it spells out your name.
Yeah. It spells out my name. It said it was 0 years old, which is kind of weird. And then it said it had not lived. So I immediately think that it's like like it's inhuman. You know, it's something that hasn't lived. And then this door opens and you can't see through it. Like it's just pitch black. It's this black mass that's in the doorway.
The handle slowly lifts down or goes down.
Yeah.
The door swings open slow. And does it open all the way then? But you just can't see.
No. So it opened about halfway. Okay. So, but like at that point, and like literally any point that you open that door, you can see the light coming through from the street. Like there's a street light right outside that window. So there's no explanation why it would be pitch black. Like it was just the scariest thing I had ever experienced.
So it's just a giant shadow, black shadow.
So yeah, like giant. Did
it have a shape? Was it shaped like a person? Or?
It was just completely black. So I didn't actually see a shape. Like it was just like there was no window in the room. It was just a pitch black room. So it's almost like it was taking up the entire width of the door frame.
Well, that's insane, and I'm glad it didn't happen to me.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
So I guess the story doesn't end there, though. Keeps
going.
No,
it gets actually worse than that. Like it gets freaky. So for some reason, I decided to take home the Ouija board with me because I was the one who had bought it, and I was being greedy. So I was like, I'll take this home. Yeah, so I was like, why not? And I I was 11, so I hadn't heard any story about anything being bad about Ouija boards. We thought it was just like a fun game on Halloween. So literally like the next day when I had brought home that Ouija board, things started to kind of escalate. And like, I'd never experienced anything in my house before, like nothing out of the ordinary. Like I don't live in a very old house, and it's not a very old part of Calgary. Like it's like on the outskirts. So it's like really quiet, and it's like barely new development. So it's not like anything should be there.
It's not built on a graveyard or something, is it?
No. And I even did research after things started happening to me. I was like, what is going on here? Trying to find an explanation. So after I brought it home, I started to hear and it wasn't just me, it was also my sister. So, and my parents were divorced and everything. My mom was working all the time. So it was always just me and my sister at home. And I just would hear voices talking in this, a language I couldn't understand, in a really weird voice, outside of my door. And I would hear it would be a conversation. So something would talk and then something else would reply. And then as soon as I would get up off my bed to open my door, it would stop. And then this would happen when I'd be in the shower and I'd hear it outside the door and no one would be home, or, things like that. And I would just hear these weird conversations around the house, and I couldn't never figure out what it was because I was always home alone, nothing, it was strange. And then I would hear footsteps when, people were it sounded like there was a group of people upstairs, and me and my sister would be downstairs. And I started to experience a lot of sleep paralysis. So for a week straight after the experience with the Ouija board, I had every night sleep paralysis of this huge dark figure. And that's kind of what I think might have been what we saw in my friend's house. Cause it was this huge, looming black thing. And I just felt dread.
God. Did it have red eyes?
I didn't see any eyes. I didn't see any features. Yeah, that would be fucked up. But yeah, so I started experiencing that almost every night for a long time. And I would just feel, and it would never come towards me. It would just stand and watch me as I would try and fight to wake up. And I would just have this feeling of dread, and just I felt like I was going to die. It had that feeling on me. And then kind of the next thing that really happened that really made me realize that something was going on was that I was having a sleepover with my friend's house, with my friends over here. And there was 3 of us. So even if I talked to them, they could vouch for this. We were all sleeping in my bed, and then we heard something woke me up, and it was scratching on the door, like a dog. I had a dog at the time. But we always kept him in the kennel because he was a puppy and he had accidents a lot. So he was always in a kennel in my mom's room. We never let him out. And we heard what intense scratching out my door, and it started rattling my door. So I woke up, and then I woke up my friends, and they all heard it. So we all heard it. We were all staring at this door rattling as we're hearing this intense scratching at my door. So all of us were frozen with fear. We didn't want to get up. We didn't want to look at it. We didn't want to open the door. They were telling me to go open it, but I wouldn't. And then eventually it just stopped after, and it happened for probably about 5 minutes straight of just this crazy scratching.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
It was terrifying. So that was the first thing that really made me realize that something's going on.
So so you're still it's the same year, right? You're still 11.
Yes, so I'm still like 11. So after that happened, I'll go into bigger things now. Some kind of scarier things than that. Things? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It gets like progressively worse after this. So all of this kind of happens over like a long time. So if all of a sudden I'm like 17, that's just because it happens over a while. So after that, everything keeps happening. Like we're hearing the voices, we're hearing the footsteps. I'm getting the sleep paralysis.
Wait, you're 17. It's been happening.
No, I'm still like 11. And then like, I just said like, if this all of a sudden skips to when I'm 17, that's just because like, that's like the next like big thing.
So it's been happening slowly from your 11 till 17.
Yes.
Just like little door scratching here, little black shadow here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So the next thing happens probably when I'm like 13. So this was one of like the freakiest things I've ever experienced in my life, because I really got like, well, anyway, I'll explain it. So I woke up in like the middle of the night just because, I don't know why, I just had this feeling that I was being watched, I guess, and it woke me up, and I felt like immediately like freaked out. And so everything was dark. Like it was probably around 2 a.m. I get out of my bed because like I heard somebody walking, like, and my upstairs floor is pretty creaky, so you can always tell when somebody's walking. So I got up and I opened my door and I saw this like shadow, and I thought it was my mom coming out from her room and walking down the stairs, because she always lights candles at night and sometimes she forgets to blow them out. So I was like, okay, she probably just is forgetting to blow them out or something. So I open the door and I see this shadow just walking out of her room down the stairs, and it's in front of me. And so I start following it and I'm talking. I'm like, mom, hello. And she's not hearing me. Nothing's replying to me. And this is dark figure. And like, that's kind of when it hits me that this figure is floating and it's not touching the ground. And this figure, and it's really, really dark here, but this figure is almost darker than the dark. I guess that's kind of how I want to explain it. Like it's just
pitch black.
Yeah. Like it's a really weird shade of black. Like it's, and I'm following this thing. Like I am walking right behind this thing thinking that it's my mother. So I'm talking to it. I'm saying, hello, like, why aren't you replying to me? And it stops. And I immediately just like freeze and that's the moment when I realized it was floating, and then it just disintegrates. Like it's gone. All of a sudden it's just disappeared. So I am still paralyzed at this point because I'm so scared. So I'm probably on that staircase for like 5 minutes, just looking, terrified to move because I still feel something. Like I could feel this weird thing around me. So eventually I just run and I go into my mom's room and she's dead asleep. I go into my sister's room. She's dead asleep. So it couldn't have been either of them. So I run back into my room. I slam the door. I'm like under my covers. And the next day I asked them like if anyone had like got up or anything. And like, they're like, no, like we were all in bed all night. I asked if my mom maybe had like a friend over or my sister, like, and they're like, no, like where it was just us. And like, I don't know if it was a nightmare or something, but it felt so real. Like it was terrifying. So that was one of a really big thing.
Kidding.
Yeah. Like I was right up next to this thing.
So had you played the Ouija board again since in the last couple of years?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like as much as it freaked me out, like it kind of like excited me at the same time, right? Because it's kind of like.
Now, did you ever close the game? Yeah. Like you're supposed to close the game, right? Say
I know.
Goodbye.
Yeah. So we didn't know that. So the first night playing that, I think that's why whatever happened or whatever we were talking to.
You opened a portal.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I think about now. I'm like, we didn't know what it was. We didn't know how to properly do it when we were kids. So, so after that happens, like everything's still like creepy happening in my house, still voices, still footsteps all the time. This next thing happened probably not too long after I saw that figure. I had a TV in my room and it was like one of the old ones that has like the remote and everything and the huge back and everything. So it was huge and it's, yeah. So, it would start to turn on in the middle of the night and it would like start to change like the channels. And like you know how the old TVs, how you could like see like I don't know how to explain, like the channels changing in the corner, like you could see it go from like 10 to 11 to 12 or something like that.
Yep.
Or like the volume doing the same thing. So it would wake me up because the volume would be going up and down and up and down, and I could see it like going up and down like someone was clicking it. And same with the channels, but the remote would be on top of the TV. So I could see this happening. In order for it to stop, I'd have to get out of bed and unplug my TV, because it wouldn't stop, and it would wake up everybody in the house and they'd be like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, like it's just turned on. So it got so bad and it started to happen so often that I actually had to take out my TV and like throw out the TV. Like I refused to have a TV in my room. And I still to this day actually don't have a TV in my room because I'm scared of it happening, because it was so freaky. Like it would wake you up in the middle of the night.
Oh,
just
of course.
full blast.
Now
and
when you unplugged it, did it stop? It stopped. It didn't like miraculously like turn back on or some shit.
No, thank God. Okay. that was terrifying. But no, but I mean, it happened a lot. So one day I was just like, Mom, like you need to take this out of my room. I can't have it. And it wouldn't happen to my sister, and it wouldn't happen to my mom and their TVs, and they had the same ones. And like it was just strange that it would only happen to me. So yeah, that was not fun.
Oh, yep. So crazy.
Yeah. So,
does it get worse?
Yes. So the next thing happens like quite a few years later, probably when I was like around 17 or 16. But this is like the next thing that happened that I think was like the freakiest. And it's the thing that actually caused me to like get rid of my Ouija board. Cause I still had the Ouija board the entire time, and I wasn't putting 2 to 2 together. Like I wasn't really thinking about the fact that I had this thing in my possession. So one day I was we have like a basement in my old house where it was completely undeveloped, and there was like this tiny little crawl space that was in the middle of the wall. Like, so it wasn't like in the very bottom or the very top, it was right in the middle of the wall. And it was pitch black and it didn't have a door on it. So it was always open, always terrifying. There was still like insulation in the walls. Like there was nothing down there that was like comfortable whatsoever. And there was like a pole right in the middle of the room. So one time me and my friend decided to make a fort around this pole. So we were right in the middle of the basement. So not up against a wall, nothing. And we brought down a TV and everything. We made like a bed, and we fell asleep. Lights were off and everything. And then I couldn't fall asleep just because like I was still scared about everything that had been happening to me, right? So, and I was in the basement of this house that was dark, and there was a huge crawl space in the wall, and it was just terrifying. And then all of a sudden my friend, like she just sits straight up, eyes wide open, like she had not even been sleeping. She looks right at me and she says, "Don't you see them?"
Oh.
And I say, like, I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Because like we have all these sheets around us, so I can't see anything outside of what is like us, right? So I can't see outside of us. And she says, "Don't you see them?" And I said, like, what are you talking about? Like, stop saying that, wake up. So I try to wake her up. I'm like, you're sleeping, like, wake up. And she's like, they're coming out of there. And she points to where the crawl space is. So yeah. And literally no joke, right after that, like, have you ever seen the Blair Witch Project?
I have.
Okay. Do you know the part in the movie where they're like sitting in their tent and they're hearing those things running outside of their tent and they're shaking the tent?
Yeah.
Okay. So that happens. But
you're in the basement of your house.
But I'm in the basement of my house. So I hear, no joke, like what I thought was like 10 people running around the fort that we had made. And I saw like wind moving, like the sheets were moving. And I was freaking out. And she says, "Don't you see them? Like they're right here." And like she was just like, "Why can't you see them?" And so I started to cry. So I started to shake her, and she wouldn't close her eyes. Like her eyes were wide open. And then all of a sudden she just closed her eyes and laid back down, and everything stopped. Everything completely stopped. Like the running stopped and the wind stopped and everything. So I woke her up, and it took me a while to wake her up, like probably like a few like good shakes. And then once she woke up, like I didn't really tell her what had happened. I just told her like, "Can we go upstairs? Like I'm cold." And then, cause she's scared of everything. So I didn't want to freak her out.
Okay. You said she is scared of everything. You don't want to freak her out.
Yeah. So I didn't. So when I woke her up, I just told her like I was cold and I just wanted to go upstairs. So she was like, yeah, it's fine. She was like half asleep. So when I opened like the kind of, I guess, the entranceway to the fort, like there was nothing there. It was pitch black, but I just like, I started running. I was like, I'm done. And so she starts running too. She's like, what are you running from? I was like, just come upstairs. Just come upstairs. So I told her what happened, what she had said to me. And she freaked out and she hasn't talked to me since because she was so scared. And it kind of like ruined our friendship pretty much because what had happened.
So that was when you were 13?
Yeah, around that time.
And how old are you now?
I'm 21.
Oh, so 8 years ago.
Yeah.
She never forgave you.
No. And like, I mean, a lot of like, there's more stuff that had happened, but like, I'll kind of try and keep it short here. But like a lot of my friends stopped coming over to my house because of the experiences that they were having.
Okay. Well, we're running out of time for stories, but what's the conclusion? Did it stop or?
After that had happened, like, obviously I was super freaked out. Skipped to when I was like 17 years old and I kind of like all of this stuff was still happening. I was still getting crazy sleep paralysis and like hearing these weird things and strange things were still happening. And then I finally realized, like I was talking to that friend that this all happened at like on Halloween at her house. And she's like, do you still have that Ouija board? And I was like shit, yeah, I do. And then she's like, well, why don't you like get rid of it? And I was like, well, I don't know where it is. So I tracked it down. Like it was in my basement somewhere. So I found it and I looked up like how to get rid of a Ouija board because it was like, don't burn it, don't do anything. And so I buried it in like this little forest that's by my house. So I buried it face down.
You buried it close to your house? What's the matter with you?
Like 5 minutes away.
5 minutes? I drove that shit 4 hours. I would have drove it to a different province and buried it.
I know. I should have. But like, I just kind of like buried it in this weird little like forest thing. Face down with the planchette like beside it because like apparently you're not to have like the planchette like with the Ouija board when you bury it.
Yeah.
So I buried it and actually since then it had stopped. Like everything has stopped. I haven't had another experience since then. Like I get sleep paralysis still, but nothing has really happened.
Do you get sleep paralysis and see the black shapes or you just get sleep? Oh, okay.
No, I still see the black shape. So I don't know like what's going on with that, but I don't actually like see or hear anything. And I like moved out of the house that I, like that's all happened in. Like my mom still owns it. I'm actually here right now. Just cause I thought it might be fitting trying to explain things. So yeah,
that's crazy.
That's my story.
That's insane. And I'm glad that never happened to me. Cause we actually just played the Ouija board and I tried to summon a lot of bad stuff. And I guess nothing.
It's no joke for sure.
Nothing came through, so we did something wrong. But
no, that's okay. You probably did something right. I was just naive little girl.
Well, I think when you're a child, when you're like a kid like that, you're more susceptible. I think to paranormal.
Totally, yeah,
right?
Yeah, for sure. Because I didn't know anything, right? Like I was a kid. I didn't think anything.
You didn't read the rules. You didn't close the game.
No, I know.
It's kind of your fault, actually.
It is my fault.
Good thing Zozo didn't come through.
I know.
Start bashing apart your house or something.
Right. But yeah, so that's the gist of it.
That's insane. That's one of the better Ouija stories I've heard. Definitely.
Yeah, it was terrifying for sure.
Is better the right word? Probably not.
Yeah, sure. It's better. It's scarier.
But you don't get hauntings anymore.
No, I haven't literally since that day I buried it and got rid of it. Like I haven't experienced anything. And it's really weird because after that I was like, why isn't anything happening? Because I was so desensitized to it.
Do you ever think about going to uncover it?
Oh yeah. Like all the time. Like since I was like talking, like I was typing up kind of just like what I wanted to talk about. And I was like, oh, I should really go like get it and like dig it up and take a picture of it. But I was like, no, I really shouldn't. I'm staying away from that.
If the opportunity arises, and you can dig that up, and you come to Kelowna,
then we're gonna play it.
Can I have it? Or can we play it because you're obviously haunted and I'm not, so it'd be better.
Yeah, for sure. No, totally.
Okay.
I'll get somebody else to dig it up though. Sure. I don't want to.
Whoever digs it up doesn't matter, but.
Exactly.
If that comes up, that sounds like a real haunted one. So that's the one we want to use.
Oh yeah. Well, something's going on with it. It definitely worked. That's for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrifying. Well, thank you for hearing my story.
Oh, thanks
I
for telling
never
it.
tell that story.
Now I'm by myself here for a week, so now I have to lock all the doors. And
have fun.
Yeah, I have a Ouija board. There's a Ouija board sitting within 3 feet of me right now, actually.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you have the Ouija board with you?
It says don't play it alone, but
yeah.
I'm trying. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll try.
No, it's not a good idea.
Because I've always wanted a paranormal experience that I could tell.
Oh yeah.
I just never.
You haven't had one?
Nothing. I've had like a weird ghost experience before, but nothing to do with a Ouija board, demonic shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely like a different kind of experience. It's not just like seeing a little shadow. It's like freaky stuff.
Okay, well now that that's happened to you, what's the theory? What do you think what is the paranormal? What is that? Is it just like a different dimension, or is it actually like a demonic like entity, or what do you think it is?
I always think about that, and I really don't know what to make of it. I mean, there's always like a part of me where it's like, well, it's definitely like a demon. It says it hasn't lived. It says, stuff like that. What I felt like not human. What like I saw clearly wasn't a human form. Things like that. And then like at the same time, I don't know if I believe in demons and hell and all that stuff. So then there comes
are you religious?
Yes and no. I don't know.
If you gotta say yes and no, then you're not.
No, I'm not.
I mean, because demons and angels the Bible's written by man. So, but I do believe that if there's a creator of some kind, all religions spawned off that.
For sure.
And these demons and angels, or whatever they want to call them, I think that they are just like an entity from either a different plane or like a differerent dimension.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't think that they're of this earth. No, that's for sure.
And some of them may be malevolent, and some of them are benevolent. So good and bad.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's kind of where the angel and demon comes from, but who really knows?
Yeah, exactly. I don't like putting a name to it, I guess. I guess that's all I'm trying to say is I don't like putting like a name to like a demon or God or something, right? Like I don't know the name of it. But yeah, I
think there's like 3,000 or 4,000 gods in the world.
Oh yeah, so totally. There's lots.
Awesome.
But yeah, I don't really know what to make of it.
Okay, Ellie. Well, we'll let you go, and if you come to Colonia, make sure you bring that Ouija board with you. And
all right, sounds good. I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
All right, thank you for the call.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Talk to you later.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, bye.
All right, Ellie, thank you for the story. It's pretty crazy. I really hope you dig up that Ouija board and bring it to Kelowna next summer, and we can play it, because that one sounds legit haunted, and that would be a fucking blast. All right, that's it for Open Channels number 1. If you have a story, UFO, paranormal, alien, abduction, you just want to bullshit about a random topic, let us know. Shoot us an email at alientheorists@gmail.com or go to our website, alientheorist.com. Get in touch with us that way. All our links to our social media and shit are on the website. And if you have any feedback about the show, you didn't like it, you liked it, please let us know, because we want to make it better. Obviously, it's a little bit different than what we normally do, but we wanted to interact with our fans more, and we can't have everybody on Case Files bullshitting with us, so this is a way to get on the show, tell your stories, and we'll talk about them. All right, I'm Zell. The rest of the theorists send their best. And remember, in this fucking crazy world you live in, you are the universe just experiencing itself. Peace out.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Pick any area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then visit your promotion section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. There's nothing more exciting than going yard. So swing for the fences with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Iowa only. Existing customer offers. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary depending on market and expire 24 hours from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.